So I've been doing bonsai for a while, and I found that during the winter time I could really use a better work area. I used to work inside the house and it would make a big mess because bonsai is messy, and also it would be a little bit too warm for a lot of my bonsai. And I also decided that I wanted to protect some of the bonsai that I have that have nicer pots or are a little more tender, like some of the dwarf Japanese maples that I have. So I decided it was time to build a greenhouse. I built this greenhouse out of pressure treated lumber and other commonly found things at the big box stores, mostly Home Depot. It's got corrugated panels on it. They are pretty much clear, and it's a plastic type material that has a little bit of UV protection so that it can handle a little bit of sunlight. It is actually made for clear roofs on covered patios or even on greenhouses. It's a relatively inexpensive material, but it's not really that strong. The door that it has on it is just a cheap storm door, and I didn't really hang it very well, so it is not in that great a shape. But here we go, we're going to go in and take a look. Inside my greenhouse, I have my main work area here. It's a long table that's about, 10 feet from one side to the other. The main surface I work on is about 4 feet wide and about 2 feet or more deep. So it's a good amount of space. You've seen some of my videos that I do on there. Inside I have some shelving. Right now it's full of a multitude of items that are waiting to be put away. Actually, I have 3 layers of surfaces right now. A big surface on the bottom, a little bit higher, and then a brand new one up a little bit higher than that. So the greenhouse is built out of pressure treated wood for the posts and the rest of the structure of it. It is sitting on basically a slant, a sloped ground. So the bottom of it is flat, and then I've terraced it and built the greenhouse over the top of it. There's a couple of retaining walls in here that are made out of concrete blocks, and that is basically the foundation for the back wall of the greenhouse. The front of the foundation is also concrete block that wraps around the front and the sides, and then the posts come out from it with the roof structure built off of that. The panels that are attached to it to seal in the greenhouse are not particularly good at maintaining a consistent temperature, but they do keep it a little bit more steady throughout some of the season. It's about 48 degrees outside right now, and in the greenhouse it is about 50. So it's just a little bit warmer here in the shade. When the sun is out over here, it'll be about 10 degrees warmer in here than outside during the cooler parts of the year. Currently I use my greenhouse as a protection for the winter time and also a year-round work area. I call it a studio. Lately I've been recording a lot of videos in here and then using those for my YouTube channel. But before I started documenting things, I had been working in here for probably 10 years or more, maybe longer than that. And I've repotted a lot of bonsai in here. I've done a lot of training in here, and it's worked out pretty well. I can heat it a little bit during the winter time, but only just enough to make me comfortable. It's definitely not cost effective because it's not sealed to keep it a constant temperature for, say, tropicals at any time of the year. The temperature fluctuations are pretty drastic. So during the summertime, it is actually really warm. It can be 80 degrees outside and a good 110 easily inside here in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's a little bit better in here. It's a little bit warmer, makes a little more sense, but again, unheated. Now I store a lot of things in here, including some of my bonsai tools and wire, and also a lot of pots. Right now I have maybe half of my current pot selection in here because I'm planning on doing quite a bit of repotting, and I'm starting to size up pots with the plants that I'm working on. These shelves that the pots are on the same exact spot where I need to overwinter some of my bonsai, so they're going to need to find a new home. That's one reason why I built some extra shelving up a little bit higher behind me here, and also I'm going to extend that around the side. So over here on the side, I'm going to be building a couple of shelves that are going to house my pots and maybe some supplies. I'll be attaching 2 shelves here, so I'll have the existing shelf, a middle shelf, and an upper shelf to hold most of the pots that are in here, and maybe a little bit more. I may go 1 shelf higher than that, depending on my needs. I also need to store some other supplies, like these boxes of wire, mesh screens, some extra buckets of soil, maybe some tools, fertilizer, soil components, many other things. So I made some shelves. I got half of my pot collection up here. The other half is in another shed that I have. And these I'm probably going to be using pretty soon. I actually had a lot of projects in mind for all these pots. Some of them have wooden blocks to stack them up on, and some of them are either loose or stacked on each other. If it shakes here, I'm going to have to consider if that needs a little adjustment. You know, earthquake season's coming. So that's done. Also, I got this section cleaned up over here, so I have a little bit of space to put some things. I'll be able to do my winterizing here pretty soon, and I'll be able to have a bunch of trees in that section. I have a little bit more to do over on this other far side. I have some bulbs that need to go on some sawdust, but then I am pretty clear on most of this area up here. So as I was making a space on that side, I also got a whole bunch of fertilizer, and I need to figure out what to do with that. There are rodents every now and then that come and visit, and they really enjoy the taste of plant food, it seems like, because I use organics. So I may have to find a couple of big totes or bins of some kind and put some of these into those. But I will be using a lot of fertilizer come next year with a ton of plants that I have. So my workshop / greenhouse is pretty much ready to go to start winterizing things. Probably as early as next week, I'll start bringing in a bunch of my more tender bonsai, and definitely the ones that have the nicer pots, because we've already had significant freezing. Significant freezing for around here. We've been down to the high 20s already. 27 degrees Fahrenheit was one of our dips so far. So almost ready to go. I'll get it all cleaned up, and then you'll see a lot more of the greenhouse / studio as I do more fall and winter work, and definitely in spring you'll see some repotting videos and some other styling things going on, maybe some other projects that I've got going on. Well, thank you for watching the greenhouse video. You'll see a lot more of it coming up here pretty soon. It's pretty fun to work in. It's a decent size, made it myself, and I just use local materials that I can find, and just kind of, I've been winging it. I've been figuring it out as I go. I'm just a guy that enjoys doing bonsai, and I like to do it most of the year. So this has been a good space for me, and I'm going to continue working in it. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.